What up, guys? Just hanging out tonight. We got Steve here, who is currently at 750,000 the last 12 months.
Might be 13 months, actually. I think I might have misspoke because, yeah, I think it's actually a little less than that. But anyways, it's at least 675 over the last 12 months.
Yeah. I remember when you dropped off last year, I remember your sales were like 25, 30,000. So I figured I'd just title this video, how to make 30,000, how to do 30,000 in a 30-day period or whatever it's titled. So,
yeah.
And you're mainly doing that via eBay to Amazon. So you're buying stuff on eBay, flipping it to Amazon. I know a lot of my people on my channel have been learning about Amazon to Amazon flips through Joji and Victor. And what you're doing essentially is like same concept, but you're purchasing stuff from eBay, like electronics and stuff like that. And then for everyone that's just seeing me for the first time on Steve's channel, my claim to claim is I've sold used books for like 10 years now, if you include back when I sold them in college. So whatever questions you guys have about selling used books, my book business does about $500,000. I'm actually trying to sell my book business, restrictedinventory.com. This isn't my restricted inventory shirt, but that's a story for another day. You guys have restricted textbooks.
Grind hard, well done, sir.
Restricted inventory is a service for you. But anyway, we're just doing Q&A tonight. So whatever questions you guys have, drop them below and we'll rock and roll. What's up, Amanda?
Yeah, let us know where you are watching from live right now. I know Amanda, she's out in the Washington, Seattle area. I'm in Connecticut.
She's cranking like 15K months with eBay to Amazon.
Yeah, she's doing eBay to Amazon. She's got some other ventures going on as well behind the scenes. And she has a YouTube channel as well. So if you type in, I think it's Amanda Ballard, Ballard. Yep. Used to be Flipping with Amanda, but I think she changed her channel name. I'm not sure. Give her a follow. She's got some really cool things she's doing behind the scenes. And when I first met her, she was only doing a couple $100 a month. And she had like a $23,000 or $24,000 a month in Q4. So she's come a long way.
She'll be speaking at Books and Beyond coming up here.
And we have an announcement, actually. It's going down, not today, but I believe on Wednesday, we have a really big announcement about a bookseller conference coming up that we're all hosting. So that's all I'm going to say, but
I've been teasing my audience about it. We got Dale, I almost said Dolly, Dale from
Dolly in the house,
Enrico, Virginia, waiting on that Nikki to kick in. Beverly from Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix is a good place to. Beverly, have I met you? Look familiar. I drove all the way across the United States. Phoenix was one of the best places that I stopped by to source books. Kansas City, Missouri. We got what kind of books items can you start with as a newbie? You just kind of answered your question within the question there. Books are great to start out. Most items I've scanned, it seems like I'm restricted. You shouldn't be restricted in books. And if you are, you should be able to request approval and get ungated pretty quickly. Once you start with books, like go to thrift stores, libraries, used bookstores, scan a few thousand, go watch Steve's channel, type in how to sell books, rake and profit, and just get a feel for, how fast he's scanning them on the shelf. And you can literally find your first $1,000.
Well, Avery, here's the thing. Most new booksellers, they don't understand there's a difference between being restricted and gated versus requires approval. So if you've never sold a book or a publisher before, and I'm not talking about like the major, like hottest selling, 2000 rank Pearsons and whatnot, but there's a lot of books out there that are going to say requires approval. So what we used to have to do back in the day was like go through Amazon Seller Central and all that. But I know Goto Lister helps with that as well, right? With
Goto Lister, because last year my mom, she's got a brand new account, and every time we would try to list a book, it would come up gated. Then we would have to go to Seller Central and type in the ASIN, find the book, request approval. It was a tedious process. So with Goto Lister, if you're using my software, Goto Lister, you can scan it. It'll add it to an error queue. You can click on apply, it automatically opens Seller Central and paste the ASIN in there. But if you're out in the field, what I recommend you do is before you purchase your books, always take the Amazon Seller app, scan all your books. And within the Amazon Seller app, you can request approval as well. So right? You can request approval within the Amazon Seller app. Am I tripping?
Yeah, but the issue is, at least, a couple months back, probably like 6 to 12 months back, if you did it through the actual app, it wouldn't like register on the back end. So a lot of folks would actually have to go through Amazon Seller Central on the desktop and do it. So I'm not sure, how Amazon is. They have like these little issues they never fix. So
Amanda says, thank you. Richie Storm says, watching from California. Patrick says, hi, all newbies here. Haven't met you, says Beverly. All right. That was years ago, like 6 years ago when I drove through there. I just saw your profile picture and thought, you know what I'm thinking of is can't think of her name right now. She's in the Goto lister community. Little Mexican lady. She's doing like 10K a month though in book sales. Can't think of her name right now. Elaine maybe or something. She's probably in your communities too.
Hey, we got a good question that came in. I think this is my buddy Shane over here. He says, when to reprice and when to hold in case the dip is temporary. So what I would say with that would be, it depends what repricer you're using. You know, if you use like Reprice It and stuff, a lot of those guys aren't using like a minimum and maximum price. So there's a lot of nuance to it. But what I would say is you want to take a look at how fast the item is selling. You want to take a look at the history on Keepa, how many monthly sales there are, how many sellers there are. That all is going to play, you know, a big role in terms of how long it's going to take for a product to sell. And a lot of it also comes down to, and I know like Avery, you and I, we have completely different business models in a sense. You might want to sell your stuff within 2 to 3 weeks. Maybe I'm willing to wait 2 or 3 months. Matter of fact, a lot of booksellers, especially folks who do like Amazon flips or textbooks, sometimes they're willing to wait 3 or 4 months to make their money because they only paid $1 for that item. So they're willing to wait. Whereas maybe some folks who are paying up for the products, they want to sell it within a month. So that all, you know, kind of plays a role. I'm curious what your thoughts are, Avery.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you pay a lot for the inventory, it's usually important to be more deliberate about the minimum prices you set. And I know Joji and Victor, who are buying books on Amazon to resell on Amazon, say whatever you list the book at should be your minimum price as well. So if you buy a book for $30, or let's just say $17, and you want to sell it for $45, your minimum price should also be $45. That way your repricer is never going to dip below that. Now with used books in a thrifting model, let's say you go out, you find 100 books. What I recommend is you list them. You intentionally set the first price to make as much profit as possible. I'm talking, you're not just matching buy box. If it's a faster moving book, you're pricing it slightly higher. And then you're letting that price sit for a 30-day period. And then we proceed to matching buy box, you know, pricing up, pricing down. But for the first 30 days, we're not even really touching. So it's pretty similar, but we don't really set minimum prices other than like I'll set a $10 minimum price on all my books, period, just because I don't want to be losing money on books. And if you go below $10, like you're pretty much breaking even. So
at the end of the day, reprice often. Sorry to cut you off, but I want to say, like, if your sales are slow and your inventory is not moving, the best thing you can do is reprice your inventory. You don't even have to have a repricer. Manually go in, update your prices, and your items are going to sell much faster. I mean, price is such, you know, it's one of the most important things on Amazon. So reprice your inventory regardless.
100%. What up, Deborah from Houston? We got Jill from Ontario. Celeste. Oh, Celeste she's part of my Feed the Beast community.
What's up, Celeste?
Going down tomorrow. Me and Matt are going down. Me and Matt are.
There's a wrestling match going down, you and Matt?
We're going live on Friday. So I asked quite a few resellers to go live with me, and most of them said no on Friday because Friday's a big day for library sales, estate sales, stuff like that. But Matt's got some pretty decent sales. We'll be going live on my channel on Friday.
I'm not sure if this is the Matt that I know. Is this the Matt that's also in my group as well, doing eBay to Amazon?
Let us know, Matt. Matt's super active in the Goto community, so
I'm pretty sure it is.
Jacqueline says, is it complicated signing up for Amazon to sell books? Not at all. Just Google how to set up an Amazon account, set it up, and then, you know, go through Steve's 5-day book selling workshop. Me and Steve shot that
together. Ours. Yeah, it's not mine. It's ours, dude. We're both
what channel you watch it on. If you watch it on his, it's his. Walking on mine, it's mine. Brian Fisher. We got a fellow Miami Sellers Conference member in the house who is also in Vegas, which is where Books and Beyond's going down, coming up here pretty soon. So Brian's definitely going to be at Books and Beyond.
I want to know who is in. We'll say it right now. We have an epic, insane speaker lineup going down in Las Vegas. It's called Books and Beyond. We're making an official announcement with Joji and Victor tomorrow, but I want to know who is it's going to be so sick.
Who's going down?
Who's going down with Matt and Avery?
Going down Q&A. Jill says, what's the best scanning app? I personally use Scout IQ. A lot of people love Scoutly too. At the end of the day, you got to get used to scanning these apps and understanding the data. You know, like sometimes it's going to turn red when it should be green. Sometimes it's going to turn green when it should be red. A lot of times it's going to turn green when it should be red. So at the end of the day, it's not that complicated. It's just comparing prices to Amazon fees, to sell through rate, sales rank, all that stuff. So either one works fine.
They should watch the video you just did a few days ago with Mike, the used book guy. He talks about, you guys, I was listening, you were talking about setting up your custom triggers and not just relying on the triggers that are out of the box. Essentially, a trigger is like a rule. So when you scan an item with Scout IQ or Scoutly, there's rules that you have to put in place, right? Scoutly has this. I don't use Scoutly. I use Scout IQ.
Yeah, they're the same, more or less.
Everyone's business is different, all because Jimmy John boy over there picks up a book that's an 800,000 rank that's going to make a $3 profit. That might be silly for you to do, right? So you have to go through and really make sure you guys have to build your business based on your goals. Who gives a damn what I do or Avery does? Like, take it with a grain of salt, right? Like, we've been in the game for a while, but you also have to make sure it fits, you know, your goals and whatnot.
Yeah. And just bottom line, like in my opinion, stay away from high ranked books, slow selling books with low profit. If you do that, that's where 99% of resellers who, you know, you've seen these over the years, Steve, in the Facebook groups where they're like, I have 1,000 books in inventory. I'm going out of business. Who wants to buy it from me? And they're all like 2 million plus ranked books with $2 and less profit. Just don't do that.
So common.
There is some finesse that comes to it. Like when I'm in a thrift store, I'll get a red reject for a 2K ranked book and it'll be $2 profit. And I have to pay 60 cents for it. And I'm like, I'll pay 60 cents for a $2 profit book that's going to sell the same day it checks in all day. But a lot of people don't realize, you know, sales velocity and stuff like that. So you'll just have to, you know, watch videos, take notes, but really at the end of the day, it's what you do in the field and what results you get. That's what's going to get you results. I've done a little bit of E2A, definitely spend a lot of time in the Rake and Profit group. So yeah, it's probably the same, Matt.
What's up, Matt?
Howdy. What to use to break down pure net profit. Exciting announcement. Goto Lister pretty soon is going to have net profit reports, but right now, you know, QuickBooks is pretty good for that. I guess, you know, Inventory Lab is the official, and Seller Board. Seller Board's not that great. Inventory Lab, a lot of people use for end of year tax reports, but you know, in terms of reselling, most people either use spreadsheets, tracking spreadsheet to get their pure net profit. But Goto Lister pretty soon is going to have that. Guy in Shannon says lots of new Amazon fees. Raise your average sales price. Patrick says possible for newbies to sell books and E2A at the same time, or just concentrate on one first. What's your opinion on that?
I would start with thrifting first. You know, I'm going through the same thing right now. I was telling Avery behind the scenes, I'm getting ready to buy another rental property. And I didn't tell you this part, but I have a chance to buy like a really expensive house and do a short-term rental, or I can start with a condo and something small. And I was talking to a real estate agent today, and of course they're trying to convince me to buy and spend a lot of money because they get a higher commission. But I know I'm going to make mistakes. There's things that I don't know. The same applies with you guys as well. For anyone in starting any new business, you're going to make mistakes. So I would make those mistakes thrifting, a buck or two for an item, right, Avery? And then you make those mistakes, you learn, you understand monthly sales and how to reprice and list and ship and what books sell and what don't. And then I always say 3 to 6 months after that, it's going down. You know, after 3 to 6 months, then start looking into E2A, Amazon to Amazon. There's, you know, you can work from home and do it from home, but there's risks involved. You're spending more money. So
100%. And just to harp on that a little bit, because these questions kind of go hand in hand, let me open up Goto real quick. So when it comes to tracking stuff, and I'll take this off the screen, I'll share my screen with you guys real quick. So when it comes to tracking your profit, and if you're going to be doing E2A and thrifting, I highly, highly recommend when you go to list the source right here, put where you source the item from. So you see how it says Amazon Flip right there? I know that I purchased this book from Amazon to then resell on Amazon. I would do the same thing for eBay. I would do the same thing for a thrift store.
Yep.
Not that you should be more emotionally attached to your inventory that you paid more for, but let's be honest. Like if you spent $10,000 on, let's just say a couple hundred eBay to Amazon flips, you want to make sure that $10,000 comes back to you as more than $10,000. Whereas if you spend $10,000 on thrifting flips, you know that you're going to probably quadruple that $10,000. So track your source, and then what you can do is you'll have it in your SKU here, and that way when you go to reprice your inventory and stuff like that, you'll be able to see, oh, this is how much I paid for it. This is where I got it from, and that'll really help you make good decisions. And Celeste, real quick, you had a question about tracking your profit. If you go to Goto list or the profit tab, currently this is pretty dang good. It's going to take a while to load this. This is the last 12 months, but this takes into consideration all your sales, all Amazon fees associated with those sales, and all your buy cost. So this is really telling you how much profit did you make over the last year based on buy cost and Amazon fees. And then in the next couple of months, we're going to have the ability to import, let's say you're paying for Seller Amp, or you're paying for Steve's Replin software, you're paying for Bookmine, or obviously you're paying for Goto Lister. You'll be able to import all those outside subscription fees, and it'll pull all Amazon fees. So it'll pull like inbound shipping fees, the new inventory placement fees. So right now, this total profit, you could probably subtract like another probably $10,000 for inbound shipping fees. Maybe not even that much, maybe just 5,000. But over the last 12 months, I've done 188,000 in profit, but that's not all 100% profit. I still have to factor in, what did I pay for Seller Amp? What did I pay for gas? You know what I mean? So there's all these extra fees. So right now, I would call this a gross profit report, but probably 2 months down the road, we're going to have a net profit report. And Steve really wants this one button that you click that has end of year tax document.
Yeah.
So you'll click on that and you'll be able to hand it to your CPA. And one thing we don't do at Goto Lister is blow smoke. And so like, it's going to be a perfect report. We're not going to release it until it's absolutely to the T. So that's what we've been working on. So coming soon.
And I think, to kind of touch on that, I feel like a lot of people, they're scared to grow their business because they're like, man, when it comes to tax season, how am I going to track all this stuff? How am I going to give all this to my accountant? Like, I'm scared, like I'm going to owe taxes. It's really important, make sure you have a good system in place to track all of your expenses, all of your profit. And I'll say right now, if you're new, the best thing you can do is, you don't have to start a business in the beginning, but go to your bank and, just create multiple checking accounts, get a new credit card, even if it's under your personal, and just split, have all your income going into one account, use a credit card, a certain bank for all your expenses and everything. Keep it organized, That's
some of the best advice ever. And Mercury's a great bank if you guys want to set one up. All you need is a business, and it's super easy to send ACH, wire transfers, all that stuff, and it's mobile friendly. Not many fees associated with this. So Mercury Bank's been great for me. I feel so used books says, is it safe to buy textbooks off of eBay?
It's pretty much the same exact thing as buying, from a thrift store. You're going to run, like with textbooks nowadays in 2024, you want to run them through Book Run Counterfeit Calculator. So just Google it. If you guys haven't seen my latest video today, I talked about 5 things you need to know about selling books in 2024. That was my first tip. Any textbook now, you want to run it through this calculator, and it'll tell you if it's likely, unlikely, or very likely to be a counterfeit. So the big dogs like Joe G. Davenport, Victor, Avery, I'm not sure if you use it or not. I know, you probably experimented with it, but very, very important.
I'm not too worried about it because I run restricted inventory. So if it's highly likely counterfeit, I just send it to Texas.
Yeah, you got to be careful. I mean, anytime you thrift an item, I don't care if it's a book or you're buying off of eBay, any of these methods without invoices, be careful with anything that's too popular and too fast selling.
Yeah, 100%.
90% of the inventory I sell, Avery, believe it or not, and I buy all my stuff from eBay. So we buy it from eBay, we send it to a prep center, it goes to FBA. I mean, I've done, I've sold over 9,500 products in the last year. 90% of them probably sell less than 10 or 20 per month, like monthly sales. So I don't go after the super hot stuff.
Yeah.
I stay under the radar.
One thing I liked about looking at your sales, I creeped on you gave me your Goto Lister login.
I know.
I still have it. Just so I always put that disclaimer out there because people think I can see all their products. I can't. So I logged into Steve's Goto Lister account. I opened up like everything that was selling. And one thing I really like, and this might go over some people's heads, but your Keepa graphs were very consistent sales. So like your team that's sourcing for you is looking, it's not super fast movers, but it's consistent, which I think is more important than, and Joji does the same thing. It's like maybe it only sells 20 times a year, or like you said, 20 times a month. But what we're looking for is that consistency, you know?
And not only the consistency of sales, and sometimes consistency only means it's selling. Like I'll tell you, to be honest, there's a good majority of my products that maybe only sell 3 or 4 times a month. But guess what? If there's only 1 or 2 sellers on it, I'm also looking at consistency of what's the historical data of the number of sellers. So what I mean is like on Keepa, you could look over the last year and I can see how many sellers have been on that listing. So maybe it's like 4, 5, 3, 4, 6, 5. So if you get consistency with the number of sellers and consistency with sales, and maybe it's an item that's discontinued or kind of hard to find, like maybe a lot of books are, maybe not textbooks. Textbooks are typically pretty popular. You could make a really good living selling products that aren't very popular, but have those 2 components very consistent. So thanks for touching on that. Yeah. And mentioning it.
Shop Epic Gift says, see you in Vegas. Victor says, Books and Beyond. He's helping us host this event too. It's me, Joji, Victor, and Steve doing the Books and Beyond event coming up here in September. Steve's going to be releasing some more information on that soon. We all will. You guys will see it on my channel as well. Celeste says, howdy. We already answered that question. Is Goto mobile friendly? Pretty soon. We're probably in the next week or so, we're going to release our first version of the app. You'll be able to list from the app. So this is like brand new. You've never been able to list products from your phone except for the Amazon Seller app, but this is going to be like optimized. You'll be able to list super fast. Who here uses Seller Board? Comment 1 below if you use Seller Board. I know a lot of people do. We're basically going to give you Seller Board type stats, but since you're using Goto Lister, all your buy cost is automatically going to be imported. So
it's going to be huge, man.
Sales, profit from your app. You'll be able to list while you're in the store. We may even have like a little sourcing component down the road, but right now we're just going to allow you to list from the phone. Beverly says, what does E to A mean? That means eBay to Amazon. Celeste says, I love the source listing. Yeah, so definitely track your sources within Goto Lister because we're having source metrics come out soon. So somebody was asking about doing eBay to Amazon and thrifting. At the end of the year, you'll be able to compare sources and see, oh, eBay made me 10 grand profit and thrifting made me 5 grand profit, but I only spent $500 on the 5 grand profit and I spent $10,000 on the 10 grand profit. So you'll be able to see and compare like what's working best for you. So regardless of what listing software you're using, you should be tracking your sources. Nice to see Romer with the shirt. I just got done running. I almost came in here shirtless. Just created an FBA account today, doing this full time as of today. Any tips? Interesting. So you just created your account and you're doing it full time. You want to take that one, Steve?
Yeah, I would say, start slow, really get a good understanding of what's a good buy. The biggest mistake a lot of people make, and we see this over and over again when, we do one-on-one coaching calls. I know we've talked about this, Avery, is you'll see somebody who's not making sales, their items aren't selling, and they end up having 500 books in their inventory. They're all, $1.5 million, $2.5 million, $3 million, or maybe it's a book that's a 600,000 rank and it's not selling. And the reason is there's a huge merchant fulfilled price to the FBA price. So like you'll see like, I don't know, maybe it's a 500,000 rank and you got like 27 people at $9 and then they're the only seller at like 39. And they're like, why isn't this not selling? Like I should be controlling the market. I'm at 39. I'm the only seller. Well, the reality is the market might not be willing to pay that much money. So the best thing you can do is go into YouTube 100% free and just type in how to use Keepa. Okay. Mm-hmm. Learn how to read Keepa charts. Because when you scan an item on the Amazon Seller app or even Scout IQ or Scoutly, you have to understand these apps, they want to show green. Mike, there's a good point that Mike brought up. They want you to buy books because it feels good. It's like the casino. Ding. Obviously there's custom triggers and whatnot, but you want to buy quality books that not only have a good rank and good monthly sales, but if you look at the historical data, people are consistently buying those books. So buy quality books. Okay. Yeah. That's all I can say, or any product. Make sure it's a quality product. I'd rather have 10 really good products than 500 crap products.
Yeah. And Mike, the used book guy, he sources 2 days a week. only 2 days a week, and he's a part-time seller, does 10,000 a month in sales, makes about $6 grand profit every month. And he probably doesn't spend that much on the books he buys at all. So I recommend, Laura hitting up library sales, estate sales on the weekend, and just send in a few hundred books. And pretty quickly, you're going to learn, like, do you like this business? Do you like shipping stuff to Amazon? Which items sell? How fast do they sell? Then you can decide, do I want to do eBay to Amazon? Do I want to do bulk books? Do I want to do traditional online arbitrage? Do I want to do wholesale? But this is going to give you that foundation you need to build shipments, get profitable inventory, and make a few $1,000s.
There's so much money you could literally make. And you talk about this all the time. People, they don't put in the work, right?
Yeah.
Going to the thrift store is great, but why not put out ads on Facebook or local pickups, or go to library sales? Like, put in that time scanning. Okay.
Yeah.
You've got to put in that time, squeezing that trigger, right? Scanning those books with your Natamu scanner or whatnot. The money's out there, but also be careful. Don't just send in anything and everything all because it looks decent, because there's consequences on the back end. What are those consequences, Avery, if someone sends in 700 crap books and they don't sell?
You're going to pay $2 in removal fees for each book. You'll pay $1,400 in removal fees. It's not going to be pretty. So make sure you understand what's a fast moving book, what's a profitable book. And if you can get those two things nailed down, you're going to have a good business. Clyde is saying, how does a prep center work? Basically, a prep center is where you send your items. Really good if you're doing eBay to Amazon or online arbitrage. You send your items there. They prep everything for you, usually $1 to $2. They ship it to Amazon FBA. You never have to touch the product. If you guys are interested in some prep centers, Google Little Owl Prep and Virginia Prep. Is that the one that everyone recommends?
Yeah, but Virginia Prep only deals with books.
Okay.
Because I reached out to them because I was looking to kind of diversify my prep centers, and they only deal with books. Little Owl Prep, they deal with everything. There's a lot of prep centers. Just Google it. Ask in the Facebook groups, but those are a couple good ones.
Cool. Matt says, can't wait for the app. DPS says, hey, Avery, quick question. How do you manage to get your account back? I'm currently going through a section 3 and I've been out of action for a month now. Send me a DM on Instagram at Romer the Roamer, and I can give you some good advice. I've been working with a lot of people to get their accounts back over the last year. And, any type of counterfeit claim or section 3 or authenticity or IP complaint with booksellers is, it's not impossible to get your account back. I mean, it's definitely like pretty not easy, I want to say, but you just have to tell Amazon the right things. You have to come up with essentially the right alibi. You have to make the story when you submit your plan of action something that they can quickly understand and give you your account back. Regarding my account was a really complicated issue. I actually decided to go the route of partnering with other Amazon sellers. My account issue was I had like 6 Amazon accounts linked to mine, and it was so messy that I didn't want to spend another month or two trying to get my account back. So you guys can go watch videos on that on my YouTube channel. I kind of break it down, but shoot me a DM on Instagram. Any secrets to get around high pricing errors? You just got to lower your price, unfortunately.
And open up a case as well. That's what my team does. People don't want to do it, but
that works.
Yeah, we'll open up a case. We'll send screenshots of Keepa, and it helps for sure. Like, you have to open up a case, and I mean, it's time consuming, but that's why I have a part-time person on my team just dealing with that, along with other things.
We got Mega Man Win saying hello from the bins. Last week on my Feed the Beast call, we had somebody join the Zoom call. This girl from Ohio, and she was like trying to like set up the Zoom call, and you could see her in the store scanning books at the same time.
Nice.
So, shirtless Avery, no thirst trapping. I actually show up to the Feed the Beast calls most of the time with my shirt. I think all my Feed the Beast calls have been my shirt. Usually Instagram live or solo YouTube lives, I come up shirtless. So look out for those if you guys want that. Christian says, how important is a business plan? Not important at all. If you're capable of making a business plan, you're probably not capable of running a business. So I heard that quote somewhere. Steve probably disagrees with me. Steve's pretty good at laying things out, but Steve's also a really successful business person in general. But wouldn't you agree, Steve, that if you're really good at outlining everything and thinking 6 months in the future when you have no success under your belt, that you're probably just wasting your energy, right?
Yeah, exactly. I would say just get started. I mean, you could write out a brief little plan of what your goals are, and maybe you create your plan of what you want to do over the next few months, but that plan's typically going to change. Be very flexible with your plan, because you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. Just come up with a plan for like your first sale. That's it. And then once you get that, you can decide, is this working or is it not? And, if you found profitable inventory doing X, do more of X, and then try YZ. And if YZ works really good too, then try more of those. And if X didn't work as well as Y did, then do more of Y. You know what I mean?
And I would say I would put a plan in place in terms of your schedule, because you're not going to get anything for free. Your results are going to be reflecting upon how much work did you put in, how many times did you get knocked down, how many times did you learn from a mistake, how many times did you go out sourcing, listing, shipping, how many times were you disappointed and you tried again. So, I mean, that's for me, that's the most important thing.
100%. Mega Man Win says, if you first started, the best advice is not to let your first month's payment make you feel bad about the first month. You're lucky if you get a first month payment.
They're going to hold it.
Selling on Amazon, especially if you start getting a lot of sales, they will hold the payment for an extended period of time. So don't expect to pull any money out in the first couple months, but trust the process, feed the beast, send more inventory to Amazon FBA, and things will be good. Me and Steve both are selling. What's your last 30-day sales?
I think it's like
58,000. I'm at 130,000. I'm splitting mine with a partner 50-50, but I mean, we don't put that much time in our Amazon businesses anymore, but initially we put a ton of time in our businesses. Now we have systems in place just to keep them running on autopilot.
And how
Virginia Prep, says Victor, that's the name of the prep center.
Thanks, Victor. And how are you doing compared to last year? Like in terms of, because I have an interesting metric that I wanted to share, but in terms of your ASP in terms of your total revenue and your amount of items that you sold this year, how is that compared to last year? Like if you open up your Amazon and you take a look, like for example, if you open up your Amazon account and you go to Amazon, the Amazon seller, and then you could actually go into your numbers and do year to date.
Yeah.
How are you doing this year compared to?
Well, I'll just show you on Goto.
Oh, there you go.
I don't really log into Seller Central too much, but this is my new partner account. And as you can see, we've been going up every single month. So
take Victor off the screen. We love you, Victor, but I can't see your numbers.
Yeah, my bad. So as you can see, we've grown a lot. I think last year in April, I was probably doing like 70 to 90K, but then my account got shut down around July of last year. And so I had to restart from scratch. But my account was shut down because I truly did sell a lot of counterfeit books on accident, settled with the brand. Amazon didn't want to take their word for it. The brand contacted Amazon, said, hey, you're good to go. But anyway, my case was super complicated. So I just decided to partner with someone else. And I mean, compared to last year, I'm, growing for sure. And I mean, look at this growth. Like if we continue this, which I kind of want to get up to 300K a month, I'd be happy with that. And then at your Tulsa event in Oklahoma, what's his name? Josiah came and he said, at some point you have to decide when you're going to take money out of the business, when you're going to be happy.
Your goalpost.
Yeah, when's your goalpost? If you keep moving your goalpost more and more and more, you're always going to keep investing more and more in your business. But my goalpost is about 300,000 in sales. That would allow me to pull, multiple 5 figures out of my business. And that's what I want to get to. So right now I'm just reinvesting everything back into my Amazon wholesale business right now. But yeah, things are going pretty good. What about you from last year?
Yeah, so I wanted to share an interesting metric. I posted it on Facebook and on the YouTube community tab. So so this is interesting. If I take a look at year to date, I'm at $207,800. So it's like a little over 50K plus average so far. But the interesting thing is, if you look at my units sold, I've sold 1,847 items so far this year. That's down 57% compared to last year. That would sound bad, right? Down 57%. But my actual overall product sales for this year is up 23%. So if my units sold is down 56%, Avery, but my actual total sales is up 23%, what does that mean?
Average sales price has gone up, which means your Amazon payout's bigger, which is really good. Like when somebody comes to me like, I did 100,000 in sales, but their average sales price is $10. I'm like, you probably got an Amazon payout of like 20 grand. Whereas if you tell me you got 100,000 in sales, but you have an average sales price of $100, you probably got a $90,000 Amazon payout because your average sales price is higher. You keep more of the pie.
Yep. And when you're selling less products, but making more money, and my margins are somewhat similar. Okay. So my profit margin is somewhat similar, but I'm doing 56% less flips, but I'm making more money. That means my team has to source less. My prep center has to list less, lower fees.
Yeah. So your net margin is probably higher.
Yes. And the magic's always in the details that nobody can see. The most important thing to me, and again, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I'm just sharing where you guys can take things. I used to spend, remember when I used to prep all my own inventory, had everything coming to my house, all those packages, listings, shipping, employees. I went from spending 5 to 15 hours a week on my business to now, sometimes it's only an hour per week because I have a prep center. So orange bars don't tell you everything.
Yeah, 100%. Mega Man is saying, plus also when you first start, don't overprice and then not reprice. Yeah, that's a good tip too. Do you play cricket? I do not. Do you, Steve? This guy really wants to know, do we play cricket? He's hit us with like 20 of them.
I mean, there's a big Indian population in my area and they love cricket.
He said, stop chewing and help me. What's section 3? You want to explain what section 3 is? Maybe you can.
Yeah. Section 3 is a part of the terms of service, essentially, where Amazon acts as a dictator and they can say, hey, if we don't like you or don't like what you're doing for whatever reason, if you're chewing nicotine gum live, we could ban you. A lot of times you're getting a section 3 because, I've had quite a few students and people I know over the last 3 months, Amazon's been going psycho. Usually has to do with a counterfeit, usually has to do with maybe you're listing on like a generic product listing. It has to do with like, typically there's an IP, something's going on, or for some reason you set off the algorithm and Amazon didn't like what they saw. They want to see invoices, so on and so forth. So that's their way of pretty much shutting you down for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You got to realize from Amazon's perspective, like you're running this big business, Amazon, like you're essentially your monopoly. People don't really want to say that, but you have to realize so many counterfeiters and bad players come in the game, like probably hundreds a day. And they're really good at setting up different Amazon accounts, using fake identities, stealing people's identities, etc. That they are going to shut your account down first and then have you prove that you're a real person before they just give you the benefit of the doubt and don't shut your account down at all. So I actually have a lot of empathy, as bad as it sounds. Like Amazon shuts people down left and right, but there are so many people like selling, books from India. Like let's go back 10, 15 years ago. You could get books from India for like $2 and sell them on Amazon for $300. And there was a ton of people doing this, and Amazon caught on. They were getting shit from the brands. They were getting a lot of trouble from even the Supreme Court that they're allowing the sale of counterfeits. So that's why they're so strict. Amazon will always err on the side of, let me scare the shit out of the seller first and keep the customer happy and protect themselves from brands suing them rather than not doing that. So it's the name of the game. Nicotine gum. I Feel So Used book says, any chance, Steve, elaborating on submitting the case for high pricing errors?
I mean, to be honest, I have someone on my team. I'm not really good with all the little tiny details, other than I know she opens up a case with Amazon. I don't know specifically how she does it, but she will open up a case. If you're in the eBay to Amazon masterclass, which I believe you are, just search high pricing errors. I have an SOP. Matter of fact, let me, I'm going to share this SOP. This is one of our SOPs. I'm going to put this in the group. It's kind of like a long link, but that's one of our SOPs for fixing high pricing errors. So we'll go in, check our prices, update minimum and maximum prices. We'll create
Can you put that in the private chat too, so I can put it for my people?
Yeah. What, you want me to give it to you like on
just in the private chat? If you click private chat on StreamYard.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. So you have to create a support ticket, click certain buttons. That SOP will share with you how we do that. I'm looking through it right now, but yeah, I mean, I don't know all the specific. I don't do any of that anymore, so it's been a while. But hopefully, the SOP will help you.
What's up, Roz? Amanda says, "What was the cause of Nike getting all the counterfeits?" I'm not really too sure. Maybe there were counterfeits out there. Maybe they're just trying to. I don't know. Do you know much about that?
No, they're probably just. they're probably catching up to all the people who got ungated like the unethical way. Like there were like a lot of suppliers. People were like submitting blank invoices and doing all types of crazy stuff. So I don't know. I'm just guessing. I don't know actually.
Still doing only books. No, I mainly do wholesale in the health category now, but I still go thrifting, make YouTube content on that because I think it's the best way to get started. It's what allowed me to get started. It's what I know best. So my book business does like probably $500,000 a year now, and it's all via
grind hard, well done, sir, and welcome to the freaking well.
restrictedinventory.com, baby. All right, we got time for a few more questions. We'll get out of here. Seller investigators will research for you too. Yeah, I've heard really good things about that. Shout out to them. They sponsored Miami 2023. Carbon 6 did. So big shout out to them. I've only heard good things. You also have Refunds Manager and Jatita. So these companies will open up a case for you. They'll get you. I mean, are you doing this, Steve? Are you using any refund management service?
Yeah, Jatita. I think that's the one we use.
Jatita,
yeah, I have a tendency to just set up a system and then I get the reports. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the one that we're using. But yeah, you should be using it.
These companies will open cases. Amazon won't pay you for lost inventory unless you ask for it. These companies will do that for you.
It costs you nothing.
Yeah. I'm curious if do you get reimbursed for inbound shipments with eBay receipts?
We don't do that. We don't really want to be showing Amazon that we're buying from eBay. Right. Same with a thrift store. You don't really want to be showing them you're buying from a thrift store either.
Yeah. I'd just be curious if it worked or not.
I've had some students who say it does, and then I've had some students who say it doesn't. I just don't want, I mean, especially with all the stuff going on now, Amazon, they really don't like anybody thrifting and doing all this stuff, but everybody does it. But, you know, I don't know.
Yeah.
Keep it on the DL.
Yeah, no, I get it. Well, sweet. That was a good live. We'll be doing this more often, guys. Thanks for coming on, Steve.
Yeah, let us know if you want us to go live just, you know, once a week, just answering questions and helping you guys out. I had a lot of fun as well. It's cool to connect with the folks who are watching the videos and hanging out in the groups and stuff. So let us know in the comments. What should they say in the comments if they liked it?
Drop a 1. 1's the easiest.
Drop a 1 if you want us to do this, you know, once or twice a week with you guys and just have some fun, non-webinar style, just chilling. Right. Nicotine gum and everything's going down.
Nicorettes popping. Drop a 2 if you take some Nicorettes too. I feel so used. Book Scout says 1. Brian Fisher says, thanks, guys. Great sesh. He shows up to the Feed the Beast calls every week.
Nice.
We got Beverly saying 1. Amanda.
DPS is 2. That
DPS. Oh, he's popping Nickies left and right. He's popping those 2 million Nickies. Dale in the house.
Dale.
Heck yeah, guys. See you next week.
Thanks, Amanda.
Peace.